I'm Mike Rowe. And I'm on a mission to find people on a mission. Boom. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like what you do?
25.
There we go. What are they doing?
Freaking out.
How are they doing it? And why?
I love to make things that make people smile.
It's very freaking exciting.
Come on, Mike, we gotta get it.
I dare you to turn the channel. On this episode,
Holy crap.
I see just how low I can go.
This is normal.
With a couple of brothers who take motor modifications to new heights. And then,
Making a guitar.
I dig up the roots of musical Mississippi when I learn the art of the homemade cigar box guitar.
Not perfect. We don't want perfect. No, I nailed it.
And later,
I want it made in the USA.
just how hard is it to mass produce a high-quality bobblehead at an affordable price in the good old USA? Pretty hard, actually.
Can you make me look smarter?
It's come to my attention that many of our elected officials, and even some of our founding fathers, have disturbing ties to China. What's up with that? Mitt Romney, made in China. I'm sure he was from Boston, with a capital J. I was told Georgia. Huh. I thought he was from California. I thought it was Arkansas. Huh. I had no idea. All right, so maybe it's not a scandal. Maybe the undeniable fact that bobblehead versions of American presidents are now being mass-produced only in China has no real impact on the macroeconomic forces shaping our larger relationship with American manufacturing. Personally, I'm more concerned with microeconomic issues, which is why I'm in this production van, hurtling toward the next story. When a fan suggested I raise money for my foundation by mass-producing a bobblehead version of myself, I said okay. But with a few conditions. I wanted the best possible quality, the lowest possible price, and one more thing.
If I'm going to do a bobblehead, I want it made in the USA. It just seemed a reasonable thing to ask, but everywhere I turn, can't make a bobblehead in the USA. The company reached out, called Royal Bobble here in Alpharetta, Georgia. They said, look, we can't do it on a mass scale, but we'll make you 100 for your foundation. If it all goes as planned, I'm gonna have 100 limited, made in the USA bobbleheads of me. Some have said I've been limited all my life, but in this case, I'll be limited to 100.
For the last 6 months, I've scoured the country looking for an American company that can mass produce thousands of bobbleheads in my image right here in the good old USA.
We're here.
From what I'm told, it's no longer possible. However, I did find a bobble mogul in Georgia who wants to help me out.
Mike,
How are you?
doing? It's good to see you.
Warren, it's good to see you. It's Warren, right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming out.
He also wants to explain why the entire bobblehead business has gone to China.
That's a big bobble.
It is. We go to trade shows and there's nothing like a big bobblehead to let people know what you do.
I love it.
Bobblehead dolls have been around a lot longer than you think.
We estimate this to be about 140 years old. Paper mache. You can see it's got a different type of mechanism. It's more of a pivot, and as paint's peeling off, I'm sure it's loaded with lead paint.
Of course, and it's made of pure, healthy asbestos.
Warren's been in the bobblehead biz for less than 10 years, but these types of figurines date all the way back to the 1600s, in, of all places, China. Nowadays, some bobbleheads can be cheap plastic tchotchkes or highly collectible reproductions of pop culture figures. This set of original Beatle bobbleheads from 1964 will set you back at least 10 grand. It's nothing to shake your head at. But this is a business that Warren, who spent 20 years in the mortgage industry, knew nothing about.
This company, how did it come into existence and how many people work?
Well, I was a victim of the dot-com bubble. I started just tinkering and I was buying and selling some domain names. And so one day there was an auction, a domain auction, and the name bobbleheads.com was up at auction. And I said, that's cool. I think I'll bid. So I was kind of surprised that I won it.
The man bought a company called Bobbleheads.com. Never having made a bobblehead.
Right.
So you essentially like wrote a headline and
Right.
then made up the story.
And this was during the 2008 election with, Obama and John McCain and all that, Sarah Palin. And so all of a sudden, overnight, literally on day one, I had an order. And it kind of grew from there.
Warren did know a thing or two about e-commerce, though, and was able to reinvent himself in this quirky trade. Which leads to the real reason I'm here. Why is it so hard to mass produce a high-quality bobblehead at a competitive price in the United States of America? To find out, you actually have to make one.
So this is Tom.
Hey, Tom.
He's our digital sculptor.
How are you? Likewise.
From the beginning of bobbleheads, they've been developed in kind of the old way using clay.
Yeah.
When the clay is ready, you make the mold and you pour the cast and you do the paint.
Right.
In the last few years, we've started doing digital sculpting.
So all the design starts right here at Tom's desk.
That's right.
We sent you a picture, right? Something to work from?
Actually, I can just pull it up right quick.
So you kind of lay the actual...
It's an overlay, yes. And that way you get the most accurate results.
That's a bag of crap, right?
Right, I understand, yeah.
So that's a reasonable amount of dog crap in the bag, and there'll be a dog at my feet.
Not just any dog.
That's my dog. That's Freddie. That's great. I haven't looked that lean in a while.
Mike, we've also learned another important part of designing bobbleheads is that you have to accentuate the positive.
Can you make me look smarter?
Then we're going to do a 3D print. The digital file will be sent to a 3D printer, and it'll be output as a physical object. And then I can show you some of those.
Great. Rachel?
Yes, sir.
Mike?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So this came off a 3D printer.
It comes directly from the file that he sent.
When I get that, I start making the molds for him. Okay. So we just stick them down in there. So as soon as that sets up, we can take him back into the warehouse and pour the silicone in it. And this is the form for our mold. Would you like an apron?
Would it look like that?
Yes, it will.
Yeah, it would.
The steps to making a mold are pretty straightforward.
What am I stirring again?
It's silicone rubber.
First, you need to mix together a couple silicone agents, but you need to do it fast.
For this, you have 9 minutes until it starts to gel, and then you can't work with it anymore. You have to get it right the first time.
I had no idea such a level of pressure existed down here at the Bobblehead factory.
We're intense.
Once you've got that perfect mix, you pour it over the 3D casting we just made.
It looks good.
So you're basically making kind of a negative, right?
That's exactly what you're doing. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it in our pressure pot. You just stick it down in there.
Okay.
And this is going to get all the air bubbles out. And if you don't get them on tight enough, it will explode. So you got to be careful.
All right, let's give that extra spin then.
We're all ready. You do that. And it's going to sit for 30 minutes.
Ah,
oh.
crap.
Sorry about that.
Watch out for the beans.
Got it.
30 minutes later, the rubber has hardened. Now I need to pull out the printed cast head,
Oh, yeah, it's hard.
At this point, we would cut it open, use razor blade,
which is easier said than done.
and then you just cut down the side.
It's like so?
Uh-huh.
This is the best way to do this?
That's the way I do it. I believe it's the best way.
Are your fingers still attached?
Sometimes. Not all the time.
Am I being a sissy about this, or is this just not cutting through here?
I have another razor if you'd like to try that one.
Seriously, Rachel, are you messing with me?
No, I'm not. Do you want me to do it?
No.
Okay.
So I'm here in Alpharetta, Georgia, trying to mass produce a high-quality bobblehead I can sell to raise some money for the Microworks Scholarship Fund.
Oh.
Crap.
And I'm failing.
And then you just cut down the side.
Come on, you're messing with me. What the hell? I'm pretty sure this is going to slip off and I'm going to pull out my liver. Look at that. Why wouldn't it go through there? Sure, go ahead. No, you didn't just do that.
And then you just pull it out.
Why didn't that do that for me?
I don't know.
I do not want to cut your thumb off.
I would prefer that too. And so at that point, you're going to pull your mold apart.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
All right.
It's ready to have the resin poured. And then it's going to go in the pressure pot.
Back in the pressure pot.
There you go.
And now, after a mere 4 minutes,
And then
Ow.
and the threat of yet another concussion,
he's perfect.
voila.
That's fresh out of the mold, and you can see little defects like this and like underneath his chin.
Yeah.
Those will have to be cleaned up before we can prime him.
It's
And
me,
then-
it's not him.
Right.
It's me.
before we
I'm
can prime him.
standing right here.
And then we'll do things like cut off the neck and drill out the hole in the head, put in the spring, paint him, and then he'll be ready to be attached to the body.
And now comes the most critical phase, making me look good.
When the real time comes into play is painting the details, the eyes,
That's
the
the
little
hardest
sparkle
thing.
in the eye and the color in the eye. It takes a lot of time to do that.
This that I'm doing right now is just trying to make the hat look a little bit older. 'Cause
Distressed.
you don't wear nice, clean hats.
I don't wear nice, clean anything, really. They do appear to sparkle a little bit. They're a little red this morning, but
And
just a little bit of white in
just
there.
a little bit of white. That's all it is. I use toothpick. It's my secret weapon.
You're gonna put a toothpick in my eye.
Yep.
Had you ever personally owned a bobblehead?
I actually have one of me and my husband. It was for our wedding as a gift.
From here?
Yes,
Okay.
from here. That's my father-in-law.
Warren's your father-in-law?
Yes.
You buried the lead. Hello.
Sorry about that.
Warren.
We do have a copy of that bobblehead. This is Rachel and my son, Brandon. And this is the picture we worked from.
Ah,
There are perks to be in the bobblehead business.
no kidding. It's all about who you know.
Watching Rachel, I realize just how much work is involved with creating a mini-me. Surely, there must be a shortcut.
When it comes to reproducing them, does each one have to be individually hand?
Everyone is individually hand done.
Oh.
Right.
Now, is that just in my case, or is it like with
It's
the
in every
Pope?
it's in
It's
every case. If
all
you're
of them.
doing 10,000 pieces,
They're all
you
hand
gotta
painted.
hand paint 10,000 pieces.
Oh.
I do a mold and cast here, and I paint him, and I make a duplicate, and then we send one copy to China for them to copy what I've painted.
By hand over there.
Yes.
Right.
What's the difference in the cost between the best possible bobblehead you can buy that's made in China and the best possible bobblehead you can buy that's made here?
The retail price of a product like that would probably have to be about $200
Yeah.
per unit. And about $20 if we do the hand production in China. And the only part that we do in China is the molding and the casting and the
Right.
actual hand painting.
That's fascinating. So it's not just hand painted versus not hand painted. It's a question of where's the hand painting being done.
Right.
Yeah.
You've agreed to do 100 of these?
Rachel will do 100 of these.
Does that mean you're going to paint my face 100 times?
Yes, it does.
That is so sweet.
We're
Oh
going to
my
be best
God.
friends.
So, in order to mass produce a high quality version of my giant noggin here in the USA, Rachel would have to mass produce herself. When it comes to quality, there really is no shortcut. And since there's no mass market for a $200 likeness of yours truly, I'll just auction off the 100 Rachel has agreed to make and use the money to award scholarships to train kids for American jobs. Along the way, I will ponder the possibility that America's willingness to ship the entire bobblehead industry overseas might be reflective of a larger willingness to outsource all sorts of other things. Hey, I'm no expert, but my little microeconomist friend here appears to be nodding yes. And really, who am I to argue?
You think a chip on the shoulder's bad? I got one shoved up my butt.